Now, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's the deal? It's your man King Eric, the media assassin. Now tuned in to Off the Cuff Radio. Got my host T-Match with the facts on the line. What's good?
What's going on, y'all? Another tremendous Thursday of terrificness on that fresh frequency, OTC, Off the Cuff Radio. We are live now, right? Shout out to our co-host, Bill on Sam Adams and Show. Of course, shout out to our man, Dirty Basement Radio, DJ Sccit in New York. Tonight is another special, super magnificent night of having a thoroughly thoughtful and enjoyable discussion with three of the West Coast tremendous titans. Two of which are producers, and one of which is one of the most elite, legendary MCs. The first two that I'm going to mention are Sccit, of course, Siavash The Grouch. They are co-producers, two of the most bonkers, bananas, beat minds, with just the overall boom bapness, who co-founded Lab Cabin Records, who embody that enthusiastic aesthetic of West Coast excellence. And of course, our other guest needs no introduction, as he is one of the most legendary, excellent, elite MCs ever to do it. The man who drops bombs like Howard Sheba, who everybody knows to kill the microphone, the legendary, necessary RBX. Gentlemen, this is an honor and a privilege to have you all on our show tonight. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us.
You know that. Appreciate you.
Man, I guess we get right to it. Everybody, for those that don't know, tell our audience about yourself, and about all your forays into hip hop.
I'll start off. I'm Sccit, as you already introduced. Up and coming producer. I've been producing for quite some time, actually, but he's also a rapper, also an MC, But just recently we've been getting a little more heavy in the game and producing for these legends such as RBX. And our whole goal is to bring that realness back to the game, which is missing in today's game, as you know, with all the mumble bullshit and the fake shit that they're pushing out to the forefront. So for us, it's always been a goal to keep shit authentic, more of that real hip hop that everybody that we all grew up on, and that what we love and what we want to hear. So that's what I've been. That's my introduction right there.
My name is Siavash The Grouch, and yeah, man, RBX is just we're gravitating towards that authentic, genuine hip hop. So, and RBX, he's always been one of the realest, and also one with one of the most unique voices and deliveries in hip hop. So. It's been an honor to work with such a legend and put the spotlight back where it belongs.
Real talk.
Hey, how y'all doing there? You did?
You good, man?
There he is, man. Great to have you back with us, Dex. Great to have you back with us.
Okay, so yeah, I think the game man did a change, and when it did, he flew Twisto Flex. I got thrown off the roller coaster, because it was just certain things that I came up in the game that you gotta have. There's certain elements in this hip hop thing that must be present. You gotta have your graffiti writers. That's the element. B-boying, B-girling, break dancing, pop locking. Those are elements. And DJing is an element in beats and rhymes. And it seemed that we had got away from that and just got bogged down with all the nonsense. And it took away from the culture. So I fell back. And then all of a sudden I got, Grouchy and Sccit tapping on my shoulder, bro. Like, fuck all that. We finna do some real hip hop shit. X, we finna send you something. See what you think about this. See what you can do to this. See what comes up, and you just kept grinding and toiling. It was a labor of love, though, because this is what we love to do. Boy, we was just kind of, we were all kind of tired of what they were trying to promote to us. Like, you know what? They're trying to tell us that's strawberry marmalade, but we don't want no strawberry marmalade.
Yeah, so we did what we do best, and we started making classic, and you know that was our whole goal, was to make a classic, and with each song, each individual song, we put all our heart and soul. We poured everything into each individual song, because it's art. This is not just music; it's art. And when you're making art, you really gotta put everything into it, as opposed to what they're doing nowadays. Just, you know, it's all generic bullshit. Just throwing shit on the wall and seeing what sticks, pushing out song after song after song without no staying power. None of the music has staying power. I wouldn't say none of it, but a good portion of it.
Yeah, pretty much none of it. I'll agree with you with the none of it thing.
Yeah, that's what that was.
They don't got no staying power. It's for right now, because that's why they making it for right now. For right now. And if you remember, not to cut to our brother Sccit, but for right now, we made shit back in the day that was kind of thinking of the future. So we were projecting. We have outlook. We talking about your coochie pink and your booty hole brown. You pretty much gave it all the goodies right there.
Right. And that's what it is. So you're just looking for that hot, you know, that quick, which has no lasting power.
Hop on a platform, dye your hair, put on you some nice gold chains and shit. You know what I'm saying? Look crazy and shit. Got everybody running around with all this fake ass chains on, getting hurt up over this nothingness. It's just a bunch of trash. But at the same time, some of the youngs got heat. I'll be like, oh, now that's hot in the herd to me, because I'll be hearing some of my young play something and be like, what was that?
Yeah, no doubt. And that's why I corrected myself. I said I wouldn't say none of it. I wouldn't say none of it doesn't have lasting, because some of it does got lasting power, but a good portion
as well.
What's being pushed to the forefront, and the sound, especially the sound, and like you said, X, like everything has that. Back in the day, everything had it. Everybody had their own sound. Everybody.
Yeah.
When you heard Busta Rhymes, it was Busta Rhymes, and when you heard Snoop, it was Snoop.
Did you hear Busta Bust? You know Busta Bust from Charlie Brown. You dig when you could tell from Food Snickens, from Food Change. Everybody had their own sound. You did a dip set with when you hear that, you be like, oh, that's Cameron.
Yeah. But not today. Everybody today is trying to imitate the next one, and it's all a blur, and that's what we try to stay away from.
I mean, and I don't really want to kind of age myself with this next comment. However, there was actually a point in time I knew who Future was, but I didn't know who a bunch of the other cats was, because they were sounding just like Future.
Right.
Future
clones. And I'm like, and that's when I started feeling like, damn, I feel like a dinosaur, because I was begging in the young. I think my granddaughter said, one of my nieces, somebody said, what was that? I said, I was begging that Future joint. And they was like, that's not Future. I was like, no. They was like, no, that was yada, 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 yada. I said, oh, wow. That's when I was like, okay, well, damn. And I know my ear heard what I heard. Somebody biting somebody. I don't know who Future biting them, but they bite Future, but somebody getting it. Ain't no coincidence.
No, it isn't.
Yeah.
And when we think about it, y'all, collectively, because we're older, not old, our tastes in hip-hop were raised in a sensibility of, like you all said, it was about originality, and it was about coming to the microphone with a mission to S&D, seek and destroy. And it was...
Damn hard.
Yeah, and it was about making sure that whatever you had resonated far beyond.
Can I make a statement real quick? Not to cut you off, brother. But since we were speaking on now, that's where a line gets blurred. We knew when we came into the Radiotron or the tunnel to knock niggas' heads off. It was a lyrical thing. Somehow niggas took the culture, and now when you say I'm a bust a nigga head open, they want to censor you because they thinking you talking about actually going out doing it because the ways of the whatnot has been blurred. And we knew back in the day, so at one point, that's what death meant. That's just death. That's where the word came from. It was death. But we knew we wasn't actually talking about a physical death. We were talking about, nigga, death to your nonsense or death to your style. Or death to where you coming from, but not actually physically killing our brothers and sisters.
No. And the one thing about it, hip-hop, for its inception, has always been about competition in terms of...
It's football. It's always been full contact. I've served them niggas.
Contact sport with the
I've served them niggas. Yo, they come around here with that wax and we serving them.
Yeah. And from that time we all came up, there was always an understood... I think while I'm all for the pragmaticism and forward thinking of society, I think even then at times, and this is my personal opinion, sometimes people take it too literally and people don't understand in terms of what semantics and figurative speaking is.
No,
yeah, go ahead.
I think to add to that, I think that we know what the fuck we talking about, but when you get people that's swerving in and swerving into the culture, dipping their motherfucking toe off into the pool and don't know, yada yada, they don't know the terminology, they haven't caught the jargon, they missed the train when it went by with the graffiti burner that told them niggas where to go. So they lost in the sauce, and now when they hear some shit, they taking it as a literal because they missed the motherfucking jargon manual and don't know how to decipher shit.
Exactly.
That's what's going on.
Yeah. And
so you got cats from the inner city that speak a certain kind of way with the woo wah. Then you got cats that don't understand that, and they put their own meanings to that shit.
Yeah. I mean, Siavash, obviously you two were born and raised in California. So you all you were both, artists like RBX you came up listening to. So you knew how impactful he was from his first appearance on The Chronic, which introduced him to all of us. So that would obviously indelibly influence you both. In addition to him, who else were some of your influences that made you really want to dive deep into the culture? And of course, we would be remiss without asking, how did the creation of Lab Cabin Records come because of that love for the culture, and who influenced you?
Well, I would say Dr. Dre, obviously. He's, the root of all of that, with NWA, and you got
I was nominated for Dusty.
Right. And then you gotta say Ice Cube. He's arguably
the nominator for Dusty.
One of the greatest ever, right there. And then, you gotta say Corrupt.
Snoop, the whole gang, Rage.
Snoop and Rage. And,
OC, Dr. Edward, because who can't do their West Coast run through without the formula, which goes back to Dr. Dre, which ties back into the same old.
We were born in the 80s and grew up in the 90s, so that was the golden era of when hip hop was still actually hip hop. So growing up in that era, who wasn't there? You had dope MCs from all around. Obviously, we were most influenced by the West Coast. The West Coast was what we grew. That's where we grew up. So that's the sound we gravitated towards. But that's not to say that Wu-Tang from the East Coast didn't have no dope shit. We grew up on that as well. And
Redman,
and from the South you had Outkast. Everybody was bringing heat at that time.
Yeah, shout out to DMX, Redman,
Yes,
Jay-Z, Nas, Mobb Deep, all those East
Nas, Buckshot, Shorty.
Yeah, I would say, you got to give love to all the regions, even though we're from the West.
Devin the Dude.
We just love hip hop. It's a global thing. It's not just a West Coast thing. Even though we're from the West and that's what we gravitate towards, that's the sound that we put out. We love all real hip hop.
Yeah. Well, mine was a little different. I mean, my journey is California because that's where I'm from. But we took a slight detour to Chicago, and being in Chicago every now and then, you get snowed in and you can't go out the house. So there was times I was stuck in the basement at my auntie Margaret's house, rest in peace, with nothing but turntables and from the party the night before they had a little shindig and a Curtis Blow album with breaks and Christmas rapping and you did that kind of stuff. So it was just repetitive. You would hear that. So that's kind of how my influences was. Chicago, then I run into the homies from Mount Vernon. He did Money Out in Mount Vernon, and he got all the Cold Crush tapes. That's kind of how I got enlightened. But then I got another homie that brought the Cold Crush tapes from Mount Vernon to Poly High School in the 10th grade, and everybody else would be over listening to what they listening to, and we'd be over here listening to the Cold Crush, and they'd be like, "Oh, these the illest beats and routines from the illest DJs." They was like, "What is that?" And I've been zapped ever since. Not to mention Ice-T, IQ, Dre, and them came through with the woo wah wah, and they were my influences, y'all.
Right. And shout out to Digital Underground as well. That was a huge influence on me.
Shark G,
So we can go back to the 80s as well. There's a lot of influences. LL from the 80s, you feel me? Like that was a huge. He, of course, part of the umbrella, the Dre umbrella.
LL Cool Mo Demon was the track. That was the first classic battle, y'all.
Right. Yeah.
When he had the Suzuki truck that rolled over LL Kango, out of line.
And it's funny,
those guys,
when X mentioned that about the Kango thing, because even in the battling, there were those picture symbols that meant it, but it was never a situation where, even for the pitch heat of where LL and Kool Moe D had their battle, there was never a situation where we felt that it was ever going to turn deadly.
No, we never thought that.
Yeah,
I never thought that.
Yeah, the only rap casualty we had in the 80s, it was really of note, rest in peace, DJ Scott LaRock.
Right.
That was another situation. That was no beef related.
Right.
But even,
that was some other shit from what I hear.
Yeah, but when we look at that time of the level of competition, there was always, even when LL and Ice-T had their little, spat with each other, once again, it was never a situation that we felt it was ever going to turn violent. And I think from that level, the game was different because everybody knew what it really entailed if it really got that route.
Right, and it was all about skills. So if your skills wasn't up, then you might get smacked in the mouth. So then you better go get in the mirror and get your skills, get your pen and your pad, and stand in front of your building with your boys to get your shit right. That's what it was about, practicing.
Yeah,
that's not so much practicing. It was like, oh, you got a good voice. Go in there and say something, I'm a woo wah wah. And then go in there and do that shit. They sample and put a beat behind it, and shit, that shit goes double gold, I guess.
Absolutely.
I don't hate it, but it's less creative than what we used to do.
So pretty much as you all progressed in it and really understood what it took, as you all have gone into business of the game in terms of making music, what have you found from what you listened to when you were younger and then actually being in the business and finding out how the business works in terms of how there has been this infiltration and even I dare say, a transition in terms of where it has gone from then to today in terms of how the music is made, how it is marketed, even the image that is synonymous with it now?
Well, I mean, if you were asking me that question, I came into it. I actually started watching the game. You see, I didn't know. I wasn't saying, I'm going to go up and be an RBX or rapper. I was watching the music, you dig, and I've seen from Michael Jackson, from when they came out. And the steps was all manicured, you understand me, which means they had to take time. There was rehearsals that they had to get out of class and go to rehearsal. So all them damn steps was right on time. And you don't just do that shit just jumping up, running on stage. So the point I'm striving to make is the music back in the days was coming from the soul. It was some people was really into, and it was a thing. Now, and people wasn't, or a lot of people, or the artists that I knew, so much wasn't into it for, I'm going to do this, I'm going to give me a mansion on the side of the hill, and I need to give me Jim Cummings and a Cullen and yada yada. That's not how it was back in the days. It was really about, I'm going to get on stage in front of 15,000 people, and I'm going to rock their ass. So in order for me to do that, I'm going to have to have my thing together. And when it came to, even with the DJs, and like I said, the Cold Crush and the Cruise, and the Funky 4 plus one more and all, everybody was, now that takes time. You have to be, you have, right at the right time. And you know when yada yada's gonna say a certain word, so you got Big B. I got that Big B. And the crowd go crazy if they know what you're doing. Take that time and effort and love and fortitude and the whole thing for game versus now. It evokes a different feeling because when you hear it, in your heart wells. That's kind of cute, snazzy, but it took too long to come up with that. Goddamn.
Yeah. And to piggyback on that, I think what happened over time is access, right? As technology took a step forward and shit became more accessible, you had more people just trying to put their footprint on shit, and then everything became watered down over the years. And having that access, and everybody wants to be an MC, everybody wants to be a producer, so the lines got really blurred. As technology took a step forward, the game took a step backwards, and that's a big part of just accessibility, that really fucks shit up.
Creativity fell back because it was no longer more about creativity, it was more about content. We need content, we need going through. We just need content because if we get it out there and flood it, we don't care if it's raised sandwiches, roast burgers. We don't care. They're going to get that. If you flood it enough, it'll become viral.
Saturation.
Yeah.
Real talk. And that's what it is. It's all about, putting your heart into shit and really taking your time with shit. But when they need the content real fast, like we need it now, we need to put out a single and then a single the next week and then the next week, then that kind of, it fucks up the whole aspect of, we got to take our time and make sure this shit is really something real. It really takes out that heart out of the music. and that's a big part.
And I gotta say, something I appreciate about Sccit is he takes that Dr. Dre approach to producing, and he'll take his time with a song, and he doesn't care, if I'm rushing him or whatever, like, yo, we gotta get this done. He's like, we gotta take our time and make sure this is something that will last.
If I must interject, I was like, you need to calm down, man. He was like, yo, I gotta get this right. You sure got himself sick, so you dig, that's dedication. But that's kinda comes from the old fabric. That's something innate. That's something that you can't buy. It's not something that's contrived. That's got to be something in the person for what they do. So
that's part of the character.
Yeah, that's. Because I was even like, where you at with things, bro? Get these vocals right. I want them to sit right on top of the track. I'm like, okay. I ain't gonna argue with you because
you can't rush, bro. You can't rush.
I have went to the class of Dr. Dre, so I do know to sit back and shut up and let the genius cats kind of do what they do. I go in there once the director, producer, tells me RBX, I've heard what I need to hear, go ahead and get up out of there. I've got myself to the point where I'll be in there like Michael Jackson. I need everything high and crispy. And I'll keep doing it because I don't know why. Artsy shit. That's why I have to sometimes just be like, listening to the director, like, that was the one. Say less.
I appreciate that, and I'm humbled. But of course, I couldn't do that if it was with no bullshit. You always provided the fire that we need.
Right.
So once I had that fire, I take my time.
Right. That's it. Say less.
Even during the time, they're like, "Where's the album at? Where's it at? We got to put it out." I'm like, just be patient. We'll get it, but we got to make sure it's classic before we put it out. We can't just put it out.
In all honesty, the word they say is, what's the word, y'all? It eludes me right now. It wasn't classic. Masterpiece? Masterpiece is kind of classic, so yeah, I'll go for that.
Yeah, I mean, you feel me? Like, it is what it is. Only the people can say what it is. But so far, feedback has been great. We've gotten great positive reviews from all hip-hop, from all the publications have had nothing but good things to say. So that kind of validates the time that we put into it. It makes us feel like, okay, we took all our time, but it was for a purpose. It wasn't just to sit on our asses and twiddle our thumbs and shit. We just wanted to give the people what they deserve.
Absolutely. And a lot of times when you work on music, you might really be feeling it at the moment. You're like, this is the hottest shit ever. And then nowadays people feel that feeling, and then they'll put the track out by Monday, but like, I feel like our process is we'll sit on that. We'll sit on that. You got to see if we can improve it, make it better in any way.
Yeah, that's crazy. Whatnot.
How long did it take you guys?
Let it marinate a little bit. Don't just throw it out there. There's shit that beyond just, it's hot. Okay, it's hot, but is it great?
You don't see Dr. Dre making a song and putting it out the next day, And I think
you probably got a 20-year shelf life with the doctor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's for all the great
guys. He got to eat over there sitting right now in the library. That's probably simple for what he say. So. He won't drop it because he don't need to. It's hard. That's him. The result of his little muscles. He do what he chooses to. It's no longer about the game. It's more about the art thing. That's what I'm speaking on. It's more about the art than the game.
And we don't work on anybody's time. We don't work on anybody's time. The only time we work on is on God's time. And when you work on God's time, that is when things become authentic.
And that's an advantage of being independent, so.
Yeah, we got Lab Cabin Records right now. That's the label that means get started.
And just a quick shout out to the Lab Cabin team, our artists, clientele.
Took full effect was when we started doing the Lab Cabin shit around 2019. So yeah, we go way back to like 2002, but really when we started doing the music thing on our serious level is around like 2019, bro.
Yeah, that was around the time we met X and Fat Lip, and we started building with them.
Far Side, we put out the Far Side reunion actually. My bad. Before we started fucking with Fat Lip, he was just doing his own thing. He hadn't talked to the other members in quite some time. And me and Siavash, we came up with the idea of bringing everyone back together.
I gotta give it to Skid. That was Skid's idea. I was just like, yo, let's just do this Fat Lip album. I was happy with that.
Yeah. So I said, you know what, we got to get the guys together.
He's like, bro, we can get them all back together. And I was like, all right, let's do it.
And we started off by doing that track, My Bad, which was the only Far Side reunion, the only Far Side track, the first Far Side track since 1995, I believe, like almost 30 years, the first complete Far Side track. And then from there, like their energy just went all the way up, and they got Rolling Stone coverage off of that, and they started touring and shit, and shit just started taking off, bro. They're still touring till now. They're fucking breaking in the damn.
They're killing it. Shout out to Far Side.
Shout out to Far Side. But that's what gave us the big boost right there with that My Bad track.
Right. Did y'all know the impact that was going to have? Because the Far Side are a legendary group. Shout out Fat Lip, Imani, the whole crew.
Real.
Trey, did y'all understand the significance and ultimately what it would do for not only their career as a group, but you two as a burgeoning label?
Oh yeah, I knew. I don't know if Siavash, did you know? Because I knew from the beginning.
Thank you for being honest.
I'm not trying to be fake humble.
I like, nah, nigga, we do this.
Yeah. No, because if honestly, like I could sit here and be fake humble and shit, like, nah, I didn't know, but no, I knew from the beginning, and I put my mind to it, and we put our mind to it, and I said from the beginning, look, bro, if we do this shit, then we're doing it big. We're not doing it small. And we're only doing classics. You feel me? That's my shit. Like classics only. And even if not everything, you can sit back and say, hey, you can't say it's classic right off the bat. You got to give it time and let the people decide. But that don't matter because the goal is classic. So
that's the standard that we hold.
That's the standard. That's the mindset going into it. Like we only doing classics. So
our reference is Dre's 2001 album because we both believe that's sonically the most perfect album.
Sonically, from an engineering perspective, from a mastering perspective, yeah, 2001 absolutely is.
Shout out to our mastering engineer, Brian Big Bass Gardner, who was also on that album.
So and we don't fuck around. So when we knew that we're doing the album, like we're only gonna get the best. So who mastered 2001? Brian Big Bass Gardner. We went straight to Brian. We said, Brian, look, we got this RBX, we got this first it was the Fat Lip shit, we got this Fat Lip album, we got to master it. Then it was the RBX, and no slight to Fat Lip, but with the RBX album, like it took a little more. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And there's a little more in that. It's like it's the next step.
Yeah.
Even though the Fat Lip album is tremendous, but that's just my opinion.
Understood. Now, what you all said about the mastering aspect, because at this point, you all were just getting with X at the time. Obviously, to get Big Bass on it, this is heavy, especially considering, to give it context, 2001 was released in 1999. So this was something that we have been waiting 7 years for. Hell, I mean, this is Dre. We love Dre. We didn't even know when we were going to get it. But we were going to get the next album for Dre with everything that's gone on for those who know the history of all of this. So when we heard it, we were like, wow. And the album was unbelievable in terms of, like you said, the sonics. The everything was crisp. It was dynamic. It really, really, really resonated. And obviously, it was a hit. Obviously the stock was up with a lot of people who were involved in that. Now, you two were still starting, so obviously You were just trying to get your, by the time you all get going with the Fat Lip and then next up the RBX project, were there any obstacles that you all came in with in terms of, we're not going to get in the pockets financially, we don't do that on Off the Cuff, but just what was it like in terms of just aspects of going to people and then trying to sell them on the idea of doing it?
Can I speak?
Oh yeah, you the main dude here, so if we want you to speak, shit.
Oh, okay. So I was, and I know exactly where you're going, and I respect all that without not getting in the pockets and yada yada. Like I spoke before, we came into the hip hop thing the right way. You did humble, so that factored in on my cha-cha. But moreover, so what you were speaking on, I think I was overwhelmed because I even asked Siavash, I call him the grouchy because Siavash, we're gonna be professional right now. And I'll be like, yo, on some of the features, he said, RBX, he did, as a businessman, I post some of these stuff. He said, but you know what? A lot of credit goes to you because when I spoke your name and tell them what we were doing, Cass was like, oh, I'm going to hold the homies down. I know Crazy Bone, a few other the homies was like, oh, no, that's RBX. Crooked and a few other guys. Yep. Just on the strength. And that made me feel good because, in all honesty, I don't got no record deal. I ain't dealing with the majors. I ain't dealing with nobody. I was out there selling CDs on the block keeper because I just didn't want to be kowtowing to the bullshit. And I would just rather be free and clear everything. That's why we're able to move like we moving right now because I don't have no weirdo gonna come from outer space talk about, RBX is trying to me. Probably not.
Right. So yeah, like you said, everything was a lot of it was on GP. It wasn't we don't need this and that and that.
Yeah, no, it wasn't no fuckery going on. It was just pure
no fuckery. Zero fuckery, all real
working.
And because people can sense when you're moving real and you're doing real shit, people can sense it. People can kind of vibe off that energy.
People know if it's organic or if it's forced.
So yeah, a lot of the cats that we dealt with was on that same wavelength, and they was like, all right, this is real shit. I'm gonna give you some real shit, and that's how that came about.
Yeah, especially when I'm listening to the album.
It was like, oh, that's the RBX we was looking for, but they don't know that I hadn't been nowhere.
Yeah, that's why the album's even titled Hibernation Shivers, because that was a sleeping giant. But at the same time, he wasn't really sleeping. It's just people didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, exactly. Now remember when we first came up with the whole thing, and Cass wasn't really feeling my motif at first. Like,
they didn't understand it. Yep.
They was like, that's kind of hibernation. What?
Yeah, because they didn't understand what it was. They had to wait till they hear the album, and then once they hear it, now it makes sense. Okay.
Now it makes fucking perfect sense. Like, oh, the homies was just teasing me. Oh, you was a bear now, huh? RBX. Yeah. Grizzly is real vicious, man. You better watch him. I think they just showed something on one of the programs I watched. They clocked two Grizzlies fight. It's like 2 hours and 15 minutes. Nothing but just get down. So could you imagine straight locking up 2 hours and some change? Probably not.
And to piggyback on that, a lot of that has to do with it all ties in because the grizzly. What does the grizzly represent really? If you think about it,
that's that California bear.
That's that California bear. So there's a lot of sub themes on the album as well. So don't sleep on that.
Now, what have you all found? Now, one thing about it, especially in this era of the technology, there's also, like you all said, in terms of having an independent label, you all do not have constrictions. You're on your own schedule, and you all do not have to, follow the conventions of what some would term as everyday business in terms of what a lot of these labels do is what they perceive as, marketing and best selling. You all have your best interest at heart in terms of what is for you and the artist involved. But there are obviously intrinsically challenges, as it is with any business, which you all collectively run. What do artists and aspiring label owners have to understand about what this is and how this business really operates?
Well, I think they need to understand that you can't say independent, and then go try to get a gang of sponsorship. Because what ends up happening is that so much sponsorship, you know how the capitalist game goes. I've invested more than 50% with you. Fool, I own you. You need to come on over here and hop on this. So you got to understand that when you're independent, you got to stay independent. And when it get grimy and ugly, you can't just panic and be like, okay, I need a partner to come over here, because that's how you lose your dream now. But you was thinking and visioning has been diluted, because now you have to bring a partner in and they got their visions and dreams, and that takes your shit. So if you're going to be independent, be that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And if it get grimy, go put your grimy clothes on.
Real talk. And a lot of people are scared to put in the work. I mean, if you want to
go put your grimy clothes on, right? Your boots and all that.
All that. You got to really get deep up in that shit. And if you look, to anybody who's aspiring, if you want to do something, you got to do it all the way. You got to put in the work, because ain't nobody gonna fucking do it for you, and you don't got nobody backing you, no majors backing you, none of that. You got to really, really put in the work, like anything else, like your podcast, like if you're in sports, like whatever the fuck you're doing. If you don't put in the work, then shit's not gonna pop.
I mean, me and Sid slinging this shit like Master P in the 90s, like out the trunk and shit.
Out the trunk, but I was telling y'all that's how it's been, that's just how it's done.
So you know what the new out the trunk is, right? It's out the DMs.
That's
right.
Right.
That's the new out the trunk. So that's kind of hustle right there.
Get money through the cash app.
The change that you were talking about earlier. Nowadays you market and promote through social media. You DM people. You pitch it to them straight through the DMs. So.
And the people appreciate it. The people, they appreciate that shit, because people are hungry for some real music. They're thirsting for that shit. They need it in their life. So when somebody hits them up and, I got some real shit over here for you, and they press play on that bitch, and that shit makes their whole fucking day, their whole week even. You feel me?
Listen, I told somebody I was about to retire, and they was like, why would you say some stupid shit like that? I was like, well, goes back to the way we kind of was running this hip hop thing. Like, I would like to see some of my favorite rappers rap today, like Mick Jagger.
Right.
So.
Yeah, the game needs X. The game needs X.
I'm Mick Jagger in this motherfucker.
Yeah. You Mick Jagger, you feel me? And the game needs the legends. We need the legends, especially the legends such as X.
I was like, as I read it, I was like, man, you know what? If a few things end up panning out, and I'm just gonna probably give me some change and go right off into the sunset. Go get me a crib and just be watching, because I could put on some Ray James and some Tina in a football game or a basketball game and smoke me one and be real content.
Yeah, you'll be content. You'll be content with the game wouldn't be content. The game wouldn't be content. You feel me? You might
need RBX.
The game needs RBX, and we need the legends, and that's why we do what we do, is because the people know. You feel me? The people know what's needed and what's not needed. And someone like RBX is really
and
needed.
credit to both podcasts, Siavash The Grouch and Sccit. Both y'all, there's a couple times I was like, you know what? Y'all getting on my motherfucking nerves. And y'all, and y'all, I mean, we had that here for a couple times. Like, y'all really, like, what are we doing here? You was like, oh, acts like, yo, you really dope. And I said, man, you killing me with this shit. Because I really wasn't feeling dope, y'all. That was, you did, you know, after all these deaths and shit, and yada yada. Not to be all cheered up or nothing, but we kind of over that now. But I really was not feeling like, you was like, you're RBX. I was like, I am.
Right. And sometimes it takes that outside perspective to really to shine a light on what's real, because you being the one who's doing it, you don't always see what's real and what's. I mean, you see what's real, but you can't see it like someone else sees it, because when you're looking at a picture, it's easier to see shit than the person that's actually in the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it does that, man. The game does that to you sometimes because it have you where you're second guessing yourself.
Yeah.
And that's all bullshit. That's all doubt. That's all bullshit.
Can I speak real quick? I really wasn't second guessing myself because I knew where I came from. What I was second guessing was society. The society know anything about this beats and rhymes that he's placing in every fucking bar in the hat. He's trying to put that he's trying to use phrases that everybody not using because he don't want to sound like cat hat bad rats that.
Right. And do a majority of society understand? No, fuck no. But we don't do it for the majority. We do it for the people who do understand and who do appreciate.
Another reason I feel chopping wood because I start coming to realization. You know what? They don't know what the fuck they talking about. I heard them say something about some symbolisms that I happen to know about. And somebody took it and botched it up. And I'm like, that was incorrect. And then they seen, and there was some other stuff that was going on. And there was a lot of stuff that was incorrect. But they was seeing the hip-hop community, this is true. And I'm like, yeah, well, okay then. Now that I see what's going on, I can't put my trust in nobody else to do the hip-hop the way I think it's supposed to sound. I'll do it the way I think it's supposed to sound. So when I be rapping, that just be me kind of echoing what I've learned through my days. Like
as it should be. As it should be.
These are my roots. I'm not trying to
real.
like the hottest rapper right now.
That's real.
You won't hear a verse coming out of my mouth. Well, that was kind of Future.
Right.
He kind of sounded like Future on that one.
Right.
Probably not.
And that goes back to what we were talking about earlier about everybody trying to sound like everybody. And when you do that, that's when shit gets all fucked up. And we don't do that shit at Lab Cabin Records. You feel me?
And can I say something just to clear shit up? That ain't no disrespect to Future. Moreover, that's actually the put brother on his pedestal because everybody and their mama went and did his style.
That's respect to Future. Yeah, that's respect.
Absolutely.
He started some shit.
Right. Because I was hearing motherfuckers and thinking they was, that's that new Future shit. They was like, that's not Future.
Yeah, he started
like,
it was him and Nico.
But see, here's the twist. Nowadays, they just blatantly steal your shit and go make a record selling just like you.
They don't even hide it. It's not even hidden anymore. It's just part of the game. Like it's expected.
That's not hot.
But that's exactly why I'm glad, that RBX, Corrupt, Snoop, back on his Dog Pound shit, man, because those are honestly my favorite rappers growing up, and just going back to that mentality of like, man, like this is what the game needs right now. So
shout out to Snoop for coming to his senses and realizing that that's what the people actually want. People want RBX with the dog.
We want that
They want
shit, nigga. That's what we want.
That's what they wanted when everybody heard.
Facts.
When everybody heard that Death Row is coming back, that's what everybody expected from the jump. Nobody thought that could put out like an R&B compilation or none of that shit. They thought that Death Row was back.
Listen. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna get me in the car in a situation. I just know that there's a lot of stuff that was going on that I just recently found out. So I can't exactly say this or that. Y'all kind of got me in the catch between two. But we gonna promote the record, and I know Snoop is.
No, that's respect to Snoop because he
was always trying to get some things going on, y'all. It's just that I can't speak on with a bunch of bureaucratic red tape.
We understand.
Right. So the R&B and everything was just to keep her idle and to keep everything kind of until the lawyers and the people that's handling that can handle their business. And it looks like things have been been handled. So now we're going to move to another phase of the road.
Yeah,
and let me clear this up too, because folks are always asking me, and I'm going to say it out loud now. RBX, are you at Death Row? I'm at Death Row because my little cousin is there. And as long as Snoopy's holding things down, I'm going to always hold Snoopy down. So it's just like that's my little cousin, and that's his baby. That's his. So naturally, his family.
Right. Family first, always.
That's right.
That's what it is. That's real shit. And that's what I was saying. What I was saying is it's out of respect. Out of respect.
I don't know how to put no sprinkles on it no other kind of way, bro. That's what it is.
That's real
talk. You ask some questions, I'm going to tell you the same thing. Snoop is family. Are you signed to Death Row?
Love for Snoop and Death Row. It's all love from Lab Cabin.
All love, yeah. And that's what I was kind of saying. We really respect what Snoop is doing right now.
Okay, but my shit is premeditated while we doing labels out there, y'all. We all get, conglomerates and corporate and whatnot. You dig?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, so it's all at the end of the day, it's all music, and there's bigger shit than music, but music is just part of music is what we use to kind of put that message out and to move with that godly energy. You feel me? Like because at the end of the day, it is what it is, and what we strive to do is kind of move as godlike as possible, because that's really the mission in life, is to try to be as much like God as you can, and you know what I'm saying? You can never be God, you can never be even close to God, but the goal is to try to move with that energy as much as possible.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood.
And you got to remember too, in terms of the impact of records.
So my question is, y'all got some rolled up to be on my stoner thing. We in Cali. I got that Cali way. Ding. Make sure everybody vibes is nice and firm meditation. Seeing. So make sure you got you some rolled up, or you got you nice and up for the people. And hit that thing, man, and we don't coast and keep everything positive.
Real talk. So yeah, that's again, I just want to clear up what I was saying is big props to Snoop for what he's doing right now, putting out the new Dog Now record that's coming out. I heard it's coming out on the 31st. It's called We All We Got, right? That's the name of the album. Yeah. And that's what I was saying. I'm really glad that Snoop is doing that right now and putting, even though he put out the R&B, it's cool, but this is what the people want. That's all I'm saying.
I feel you. Because listen, don't think my phone call didn't go crazy. At RBX Death Row, I know y'all finna slap some shit. And I was just sitting back waiting for the call, and the call didn't come. And then when I did get wind of what was going on, it was basically, we're going to take the company in a different direction. But that was all,
that was smokes and mirrors. That's all it is.
Not so much smoke and mirrors, just keeping things moving forward until the bureaucratic stuff got ironed out. Because it was, it was a man. Y'all know it was a mess. It was a
We
mess.
understand because and to give our listeners context on what X is saying, because and disclaimer, because nothing we're saying on this show is disparaging or shitting on anybody. It's all facts. You can look it up.
Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying. We gonna keep it up.
Yeah, because
Snoop, my little cousin, we gonna go bank for him because he ain't with me right now, so I'm from the ride for him. And I know for a fact that when it's hard that I talk to him, you dig? But actually trying to get that done, you did when you got the label, then you got to get the copyright from the logo, then everybody coming out the woodwork with this, that, the other, that, this, and this, that, woo, wow. Kind of takes away from the creative side. Takes way. So now that minutia has been pushed to the side, we all we got, and that's what we do.
Yeah, because everybody's got to remember too. Going back to 2006 when Suge lost it in that court battle with Lydia Harris, when he had to pay that $107 million, and then people forget that the Death Row property, it went through like 2 or 3 different hands. I mean, hell, even Hasbro Toys owned it at one point.
I have absolutely no idea what the hell was going on. I was just always trying to stay afloat because this is my life. This is my work. This is my work, my body work. So when it's being transferred, and I own all the publishing on my shit. I didn't sell my publishing.
Gotcha.
So when it moves and grooves, I need to know where it's going and what you're doing and yada yada. Hold up, I got to stay investment here. And as a businessman, I'm not just inquiring as a nosy motherfucker. I'm inquiring because I own 25% of that motherfucker.
And what y'all was saying earlier about the biting, because when we talk about classics, who can forget that immortal classic line on Only Built for Cuban Links? The shark niggas bite. Who can forget that?
Yeah, that's a great album.
The greatest skit ever. He's like, yo, man, how did everybody come along? All ahead of time. Now, I mean, bite by shit.
Nah, man, we can't have no biting, man. We can't have no biting at all, man. That goes and waters everything down.
Yeah, that album is great. That's a timeless album right there.
But when we were talking, when we thought, everybody want to go ahead and, change their name all ahead of time.
They all did that shit.
But we were to hear Ghosted Ray just go off on it, because it's like they was really not feeling it in terms of what they felt was people biting their style in terms of changing names. But what you
and I heard that this was aimed towards Biggie.
Yeah, it was. We're just gonna keep it real on the show. It was aimed at Big and Puff.
Shark bite.
That was aimed at both of them. We just gotta keep it a buck. Yes, it was aimed at Big and Puff.
Yeah.
In terms of,
I just heard Nas. I think it was Ether. He was like, "Who you niggas too?" Dave Dash tell me, "Who you niggas trying to be, Biggie and Puff?"
You get it, you Biggie and he's Puffy.
You hear that one too?
Yeah, Nas went in on that one.
That was a wild time because
Ether.
You said what now?
Ether.
When we think about Ether, obviously this is 2001. When we think about what was happening with Nas and Jay at the time, which was a lyrical battle that at the time was tremendous, because once again,
you know what I was just going to say now, that was classic hip hop.
Now that's a real battle right there.
It was.
That was not a cat fight. They was talking about throwing things, but you know damn well both of them niggas is not gonna go do no shoot. But they could, but they not.
Right. And you gotta
we knew what that was. Like, oh shit.
Yeah.
When that nigga Jay-Z said, Nas don't want it, brother, I said, wow. Why'd he say that? I knew it was just knew as soon as I heard that shit. Like, nigga, he come.
Especially when he said ROC, gunned up and clap quick. Your whole damn record label gunned up and clap quick. Sean Carter to Jay-Z, damn you on Jazz Dick. I was like, God, he flipped it on him.
Yes.
And I think when
homie,
and we had never heard
Nas to make your soul burn slow.
We didn't know what ether meant.
Man, and we had never heard Nas battle. Now you got to remember too, it was Chef, because the album was not released. Stillmatic was not released until December 8th birthday. So
that's strategy.
I mean, yo, we was like, did this nigga really drop? Like, when we first heard Ether, when it started making the mixtape circuit, we were like, holy shit. Because you got to remember, September 11th was when Jay dropped. Yeah, he dropped the Blueprint. So, you know, of course, you had Takeover up there. And I think Takeover had been circulated on the mixtape circuit for about maybe about a couple of weeks, a month before.
Right.
Actually,
and we thought Jay went in on that shit
and then Nas, because like I said, we never heard Nas battle. So when we heard Nas actually drop Ether, we were like,
we ain't see that.
We're just looking at each other like, this nigga really got into a battle with Jay. And
well,
this nigga front.
Yeah, I was like, oh, it's finna get funky, ugly, nasty.
Yeah, and then the one that people rarely talk about is Super Ugly. That was the one where actually Jay really went in. But you know, I mean, I don't know.
That was the one his mama called the. That was the one we was on Hot 97. He said his mama called him and said, "You boy, you need to apologize."
So I got a call from mom.
Yeah.
And at that point, they went a little foul on that one.
Ether had already done its damage, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Anytime you sent that man to go on the radio, I got a call from mom. I was like, man, this shit is over.
That was like a little desperation attempt. That's what it was. Because until this very day, I mean, Ether is the standout track from all that shit. We all know till this very day. When people say, "Oh, you want to say you really you checked someone," it's not. I ethered him. You ethered him.
You got ether.
So that's how you know that. You feel me? That's the track.
It became a common term.
That's what ended the beef for real. I mean, not the beef, but that's what that was the highlight of the battle.
Well, yeah, it kind of did end it. It was, you know, it was just like
it was still beefing after that for a minute though, but that ended. That was
it's like
there's no question.
At that time, anybody that was running up on Jay-Z was getting eviscerated immediately, and Nas did.
Right.
That was like, oh shit. Like,
Nas put the chink in his armor.
The only person who didn't though is Pac. Pac
didn't get eviscerated either. He was like, boy, quit playing.
But Jay-Z, he had the game. He had the game on lock back then, if you remember.
Yeah, Jay was seen as untouchable.
Pop was a rapper.
And it was.
He was an MC.
And Superman got his cake pulled.
He could rap, but he had MC waves. He
had authentic energy. He had that authentic energy, and
he
like
knew how to approach shit. He knew, he was around brothers like Stretch. He knew he was around real MCs. He knew how to approach shit. He knew real attack you correctly.
Shock G.
Yeah.
That whole, I think what people don't always give. Always acknowledge Pac for was the Bay Area love that he got a lot of times. I mean, everybody pretty much, if you're a real Pac fan, then you know two things. Number one, he was born in Harlem. And number two, that he was really loved in the Bay. If you're really deep into history, then you know he also directed Mac Mall's Ghetto Theme video.
Yep.
So Disney and, shout to Richie Rich. Spice One.
Oh yeah, everybody in the Bay. I'm gonna be out that way. Yes, sir.
But Pac was loved in the Bay, man. I mean,
yes,
he was.
Pac got a lot of his game. He got a lot of his game in the Bay.
Yeah.
Well, listen, y'all. I'm gonna jump off the line. I gotta make a run and go do some things.
No doubt, man.
All is well.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate this build, man. We had to wing it a certain way because of technical difficulties, but damn it, we made it happen, man. So we definitely appreciate you guys joining us.
Where there's a will, there's a way with that authentic shit. We just did that deal.
It's real talk.
Absolutely. X, thank you. Thank you so
It's all good,
much.
brother.
It's that DPG Lab Cabin connection.
Yeah, Lab Cabin. It's free meditation. Let's not forget. Entertainment. You need conglomeration situation. You need church.
No doubt,
That's all
man.
good,
We gonna definitely
All
stay in
love.
touch with y'all. We're definitely gonna stay in touch with you guys, man. You know, pushing that record out there, and
Hey,
we'll definitely bring y'all guys back in when things get situated here with Blog Talks. We're gonna definitely have the part 2 lined up soon.
Yeah, we
Absolutely.
appreciate you. We appreciate you having us on and giving us a platform. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all.
Yes, sir.
We out.